In September 1940, the world is holding its breath. It is clear to everybody at this point that the Second Weltkrieg is about to start, and once again, the powder keg that will be ignited and that'll start the whole flame that'll engulf the world is going to be Europe. But the rest of the world is very different from the last time this happened. The Third International, which had great hopes after winning the victory in the United States, the former United States of America, has taken a severe blow because the Americans have decided that no, trade unionist, syndicalist socialism is not the way they want to go. They are going to go with a state terrorizing absolute communist regime and have founded the Union of Socialist American States and not joined the Third International. We will see if their diplomacy can still change this. Meanwhile, the Entente in the north is gearing up for trying for their revanchist approach to overturn the results from the last time this happened. And they have still some holdings in Africa, and their Pacific holdings have been already threatening the Reichspakt and the Pacific Islands. The Moscow Accord has spread its tentacles all the way to Finland, and we are ready for the Eastern Front. Meanwhile, the south of Europe is very much still undecided. The Donau-Adria-Bund is now embedded between the extended Reichspakt that reaches all the way to the old Belgrade Pact, and we will see on whose side they will be joining. The Entente may well, with their control over Spain, try to open another front into France and overcome and try to retake their homeland, which will put them in a direct confrontation with Germany as well. The Kaiser in Berlin has absolutely refused to sign any orders of an aggressive German war. We are not going to be the ones starting it, but our intelligence from the French is reliable in that they are only weeks away from declaring war and launching the attacks officially. Small probing attacks of skirmishing groups have already been happening across the line of contact, and the German units are dug in their defensive position and are ready. And the Air Force is eager under von Richthofen to bloody its wings and to get up again in a confrontation over France. So, with the cavalry units returning from their unsuccessful operation in Somalia, this really is going to be an Ethiopia problem. We are just awaiting the beginning of the thunder of guns. Concerning news from the front line near Nancy, we have spotted what we believe to be the 43rd Wessex Infantry Division from the Union of Britain, reinforcing French lines and bringing with it prepared war plans for a rapid advance into German territory. We will see how many more British divisions are going to join the front lines. We've already seen some in the north as well. So we'll definitely be facing a combined French-British offensive. Meanwhile, Ireland is trying to rapidly ship their troops home in anticipation of having to defend the homeland, and the submarine groups are ready. The convoy escorts are still reporting a severe lack of ships. So this is an area in which we are going to reinforce quickly as we can with destroyers, and everyone else is, like I said, holding their breath. We have 3 infantry divisions stationed in Azerbaijan to defend against a potential Russian offensive, but it looks like the Russians have moved most of their troops off the lines there. In the Eastern Front, we are leaving the northeastern, the eastern Ukrainian salient to the Ukrainians, and the German troops are holding the reinforced positions behind the river line here. In fact, I do need to make a slight adjustment to the front lines, I think. Let's make sure that we are including the fortified position there. Yes. Okay, there we go. Other than that, we're holding the lines here. We have the Fourth Army under Wilhelm von Leeb just to defend Ukraine. We have in the east we've got Erich von Manstein's Ninth Army, which is holding the south. Sorry, the Ninth Army, which is holding the southern Ukraine. We've got the Fourth Army, which is holding the line in the northern positions, and we have currently Heinrich's Marine divisions on standby. They're not yet combat ready. They're just defending near Kiev in case of a rapid retreat to the Kiev fallback line in case of a Russian advance. In the Western Front, we have the First Army under von Kleist holding the south. We have Flanders, Wallonian and Irish troops reinforcing the lines here as well. I would prefer if the Irish were defending their homeland, but it is what it is. And in the north, we have the Third Army under Model with the veteran divisions holding the line against a attack through the lowlands. In the north, we have the Eighth Army under von Falkenhorst ready for an assault against Oslo and any kind of syndicalist positions there. Although we are still very much in the dark when it comes to this. We can probably move the Aufklärungsgeschwader a little bit further and see if we can get a little bit better intelligence over Norway. We don't know an awful lot about their state yet, so let's see if we can actually get a second Aufklärungswing up here. Do we have? We've got some planes ready. They can run air recon over Norway, and we can also we can probably launch a actually you stay where you are, but we can launch we can create a naval recon wing. No, not here, in Ireland. There we go. Yeah, that's where we want one. We create a Condor wing in Ireland. Make that 2 actually. And these 2, I'm just going to train them up for now, but these 2 will be assisting the submarines with interrupting British shipping, and the Navy with spotting British ships as well in the region. We are still working our way through the naval items here. Is there anything that's more urgent on the industrial front? Construction is still ahead of time. We are researching here. Air. We do need the improved large airframe as well. Or we could use we have a research bonus. We could go for the 1944 airframe, but it's a long. It's going to take a year to get the most advanced fighter aircraft. I think we'll be better suited. We're better suited to just cut short the time to get the improved strategic bombers out, rather than using it for something that's that much ahead of time. Yeah, we'll just use it to more quickly research the strategic bombers. Let's get that done, and that means we are. Do I have that air wing out? Yes, and that air wing is moving over and is also going to be over southern Norway. All right, everything is in position. Everyone is ready and anxiously awaiting the French attack. And if there was any doubt that the Russians under Dmitry Romanov would be standing on the sidelines, our reports indicate that they too are ready to crush Germany, and with a revanchist approach trying to retake lost territory. The 10th Army's volunteers have returned from the Africa campaign, and I think we are just going to We're just going to add them. Well, first of all, where are we going to add them? To which group? I'm going to add them to Heeresgruppe Nord for now, but not as an actual force in the north. We are just going to position them. We'll position them on the Danish border for now, just in case Denmark decides that they would like to take the opportunity to retake lost territory and push over across the Flensburg-Kiel border. Don't want any of that. We have 3 factories. So let's see what we can. How's the? Well, that means the Swedish infrastructure problem has been solved, which means we can as well start a new infrastructure program in northern Sweden and improve their. Can we improve their railways? We should be able to. I'm not sure where that went. However, I can improve this one, but not that one. Okay, it should be enough though with a regular railway. So we'll start another infrastructure program in Sweden, and we might. Do we need to do anything in Azerbaijan? I don't think so. So we may as well just build more military factories. Honestly, where do we still have capacity for military factories? Here, there we go. That keeps them busy. More military factories, more arms production, and once we have some army experience, we can start outfitting the regular infantry with more artillery as well. But for now, everyone is still holding their breath, waiting for the French attack to come. With the deployment of the Navy, some of our admirals have some available skills that they can take. Reda, we could take ground pounder or safety first. I think safety first is what I'm going to go with, because that keeps our fleet alive for longer. We have Karls, who is in charge of the commerce raiders. Do we have anything for Karl Dönitz? Loading drill master for 25% torpedo cooldown. Yeah, submarines. I'll take it. Done. Okay. And then we have to wait for command power once more to level up the admirals. We do have the Eisenbahn Batterie 1 ready in Berlin, and we are going to move that to the east, where is going to be the most likely Russian assault going to happen. I think this is an area where we are probably going to be seeing Russian assaults. Where are their troop concentrations? It could also be in the south near Mariupol. Yeah, that looks pretty concentrated. Let's bring it near Mariupol for assistance with the potential Russian assault there. 3 new infantry divisions, fresh from training, are going to reinforce the 11th Army in Azerbaijan, so we'll send them there immediately. And I think we have sufficient factories available now that we can start building up the fortifications along the coastline a little bit more, especially the areas where the Kaiserliche Marine is operating from. So let's get all these fortifications up to scratch, and we will also then start with some fortifications in the Baltic area, just to make sure that any kind of potential British operations or Russian operations in the area will not be successful in easily taking the ports. So putting up some of the 150mm guns that we have laying around from cruiser construction, and we'll be putting them to good use. Okay, not there, that's not ours anymore. So that's that. Okay, we're putting them to good use. That is a That is a good way of using our civilian infrastructure. And then again, we wait for the French and the British at this point to attack. The United States of Greater Austria accepts our military mission, and the military cooperation between the two countries will be giving us additional benefits. So we should be getting additional experience from that and cooperation. Now we could launch some operations still in Great Britain, but I feel like at this point it's really not. It's really not going to be doing us an awful lot of good anymore. We could found the Department for New World Operations, and then try to see if we can assist the Americas. But I think more importantly, right now, we have the options of Operation Scharnhorst is going to be bypassed, and then we will be going down these trees here. So let's see what we can do in order to stabilize the situation at home, because the population is still anxious about this, despite the fact that we had a small war earlier on. So any kind of operations here that give us stability, the nationalization of the Prussian state secret police is a good option. This will not be popular with the German states, but the Prussian secret police has shown their mettle, and they will be taking over secret police actions against any kind of enemy infiltration, and potentially against discontent and uprisings from any kind of from anything at home. So just to make sure that everyone is aligned and on board with all these measures. A protest organized by trade unions and socialist youth against our government today ended unceremoniously, as instead a brawl broke out between them and a counter-protest organized by far-right parties. Specifically, two small yet visible movements gathered their combatants and agitators to confront their left-wing opponents. The extremist and racial supremacist German Völkisch Party, Deutsch Völkische Partei, and the extra-parliamentary Savinkovist and National Socialist German Socialist Party, Deutsch Sozialistische Partei. Led by Arthur Dinter and Julius Streicher, respectively, they hold little influence on the electoral stage, but they are disproportionately represented among veterans and far-right students, who took to the streets to clash with trade unionists. No deaths were reported, but a few people were wounded before the police arrived at the scene and dispersed both sides. Definitely still some discontent at home, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. So nationalizing the secret police is going to be the right move. September 26, 1940. Despite the late hour, Reichskanzler von Schleicher and the crisis cabinet are present in the offices of the Reichstag, awaiting news from the diplomatic corps. Just a few minutes after the clock strikes midnight, an urgent message is presented to von Schleicher, a communiqué from the French, officially declaring war on Germany. At least they have the decency to adhere to protocol. The Kaiser will be awoken and informed that the Empire is now officially at war with the International, and that we likely are seeing the beginning of the Second Weltkrieg. The communications officers of the Oberste Heeresleitung rapidly dispatch pre-arranged coded messages to the frontline command positions of Heeresgruppe West. The contents is simple: put your troops on full combat alert and expect syndicalist assaults along the lines of contact. Erich Raeder's office does the same. Coded radio messages go out to all units of the Kaiserliche Marine. The first Schlachtgeschwader is to be ready to sortie in case of Aufklärungsgruppen spot British naval groups off the coast of Germany, and Karl Dönitz's submarine flotillas, refueled and armed in the Irish ports, receive a simple message: good hunting. Baron von Richthofen, who has chosen to be at the 1st Luftflotte's main air group HQ in Luxembourg, holds a short but rousing speech in front of the assembled squadron commanders. They will face overwhelming odds, but he has all confidence in their gallant conduct in the face of the enemy, and that the Luftwaffe will prevail over the skies of the Western Front. Lastly, at dawn of the new day, national newspapers will break the story to the population that Germany is, once again, at war. The Empire has spent the past years under von Schleicher to carefully prepare, and the armed forces are ready to repel all enemy attacks. The beginning of the Second Weltkrieg caught German society unprepared, mostly, and not only because Germany was not an instigator of the conflict this time. Since 1934, it has been occupied with internal conflicts and partisan squabbles, all of which were far more relevant to the politicians and the common people than distant worries of another military conflict. Except for von Schleicher, who has been calling this out for a long time and doing his absolute best to prepare the country. Russian aggression in the east and syndicalist rearmament in the west were concerning, for sure, but the expectation was that the undefeated Imperial German army will make quick work of the aggressors. As a result, the German Empire enters the war unprepared, and rapid mobilization policies will need to be planned in order to hasten our rise from slumber. Yet do we truly have the time? Hoch Wilhelm, nieder mit der Brut und tilg die Schmach mit Feindesblut. Long live Wilhelm the Kaiser. Down with the, let's say, down with the enemy, and let's remove the blame with the blood of our enemies. This is meaning that we will getting the lacked preparedness modifier. Now we have prepared, and it might look to everyone that we are prepared, but of course the German Empire has been resting on its laurels, and as much as we've tried to convert the country into a unified whole in the last couple of years, there's still much work to be done. So this will mean we will get the lacking preparedness modifier, and the Commune of France has declared war. So let's take a look. That means we've lost some stability, but the base value at this point is at 85, so the 20% is going to go relatively well. We are still recovering from the combat casualties taken in the Expeditionary War, so there's much to be done at home because there's going to be a lot more of those casualties coming in. And we now have the lacking preparedness, which means we are getting minus 7% air mission efficiency, minus 7% navy organization, minus 14% division recovery rate, minus 14% division defense, and minus 14% factory output. Well, that sucks. So how do we get rid of that? Let's see if there are any decisions available that we can take to do something about this. Well, first of all, once we reach 100 political power, we will immediately utilize the domestic film industry, and then we will exhort heroism to convince the people that the sacrifices were worth it. We can also solidify control for party popularity and run a police crackdown against any kind of uprisings like the syndicalist ones we've just seen. So that's something we can do. We probably not really need to do any of the other ones. There's a new option for Poland. Poland is currently loyal and stable. We don't need to reinforce the pro-monarchist campaign, but we can divert agricultural goods. So we can divert agricultural goods from Poland to improve our stability for 120 days. We can promise independence for Poland, which gives Poland obviously more stability, but I'm not seeing us doing that yet. Right now we're all in this together and we all have to fight. Now I do have some air experience. I think we have enough at this point that we can take an additional doctrinal step, and that gives us naval mission efficiency or interception detection, neither of which I'm particularly keen on, so I will take it, but just to make our way around to where we get Yeah, I think we'll not be running interception for that much. I think we'll be challenging the enemy in the air and escorting our bombers. So I think the right path here with dogfighting experience is going to be the next one that we'll be taking. And what else? Production is obviously hampered somewhat now. We're still short of aluminium, so we do need to trade. Okay, the German East Asian trade currently, German East Asia does not export sufficient amounts of aluminium, so we will trade with who has aluminium, can trade it away. Obviously not the Russians. We could trade with the Austrians, but I think the Netherlands are probably someone we want to trade with right now. So let's trade with the Netherlands, and we will see how that goes. And then obviously we will observe the first combat operations of the war. And the Russians are, the Russian Republic is going to start as well. So first orders of business, we need to get from the first Luftflotte, we need to get all the fighter wings. So let's see, fighter wings. We get them, stop pilot exercises, and start for aerial superiority. But we will see first where the French actually are attacking. Then we're going to get the planes up in the air. The naval patrol wings can now begin. 2 naval patrol bomber wings. We pull them further north to Schleswig-Holstein, and they can run naval patrols over the North Sea. And I have probably the other one going naval patrol over the North Sea as well. There we go. We do have the Kampfgeschwader here, which is not ready. We've got the scout wings, and the question is now at this point, I think it's just the Commune of France. No, we are at war with everybody now. We'll see. For now, we will handle this. After all, the German Empire is mighty and powerful. But we will start calling the Allies out of the Reichspakt into war. So right now we're facing the Union of Iceland, Colombia, Mexico, the Norwegian Socialist Republic, the Union of Britain, and France. So Sweden, calling Sweden to war is definitely going to be the first thing we're going to do. And we're probably going to call Flanders, Wallonia as well. And then we will see if they join on our side, and things are about to kick off. Everything's in progress right now. We are gaining intelligence on the front lines, and once the 2 missions are complete, I have some more agents to work with. Interestingly enough, the Americans have not joined on the side of the Third International because they have gone Soviet. So that's good news, really. So let's see if the French are attacking. Sweden has been called, and I think everybody else just joins. So the first attacks immediately launched across the northern line of contact, which is interesting. I was thinking that the concentration near Nancy was where they were going to strike, but let's see what that looks like. So we've got the French infantry divisions attacking into the fortified second Königlich Bayerische Infantry, and I don't think they're going to get very far. They are taking debuffs from the fact that they're being bombarded by 380mm railway mortars. They're running into fortifications, and the German divisions have very, very strong prepared defensive positions. So the way this is set up is that we obviously have fortifications along the lines with barbed wire, pillboxes, all other kinds of defensive mechanisms. We've got machine gun emplacements ready. We've got artillery positions pre-signaled into kill zones along the front lines, and we have minefields laid out. And also the 2nd Königlich Bayerische Infantry is bringing tanks with it, the flamethrower tanks. So the French will run headfirst into German armor, and they don't actually have the weapons to pierce the armor of these divisions or of these tanks. So the flamethrowers alone should probably be enough to send them back. How is it looking further south on the front? Much bigger French assault against Walter Modell's defensive positions here. We do have 2 German divisions dug in, and we've got 2 Flanders Wallonian divisions as well helping out, facing 8 French divisions attacking across the line of contact here. But they're facing the same problem, that they cannot actually get anywhere against the assault divisions. So the regular infantry is dug in pretty well, and but does not have nearly the same amount of artillery ready, and obviously doesn't have the flamethrower tanks that the assault divisions are having. But still, the amount of entrenchment, terrain, fortifications, commander skills, and everything else, intelligence advantage we knew the French were coming, really are making a difference here. And obviously, attacking across river lines isn't doing the French any good either. The divisions are reasonably powerful, but the tactical situation hampers their assault, obviously. So we are gonna see if we can. We're gonna see what the air situation looks like. Right now, no French air force over the north of France. So we'll see about that. Brazil wants to send volunteers to help out. Interesting. What is the situation in South America going to be like? So Argentina is obviously allied with us, and the Buenos Aires Lima axis. They're likely to be the ones we'll be cooperating with. Brazil of the Montevideo Treaty, however, not sure if there's going to be a war breaking out between these two. So I am not entirely certain if there's going to be any trouble with these two, but honestly, I'm sure. So we'll accept the Brazilian volunteers on our lines. The Austrians wish to send volunteers and air wings as well. They're more than welcome, and so do the Italians. So it looks like the military cooperation has borne fruit, and the southern states of the Donau-Adria Bund are sending their assistance to the German front lines. And I think that's pretty much it. The Navy is out and about, and so far the most important factor is that we defend the Eastern North Sea, and so far the enemy shipping in the region does not seem to be massively impacted. We can start mining actually the North Sea to just hamper any kind of British attempts at involvements. But we'll get to that in a little bit. We do have to actually get some mine layers underway. So yeah, let's watch the initial French assaults working out. Okay, Union of Britain has joined as well. Further attacks along the line of contact. It looks like they are refusing to assault the heavy fortifications in the south. Yeah, heavy French assaults all along the line of contact, and but dug in assault divisions are going to hold that without too much problems. And I think we now know which air zone we'll be fighting in, so we can get the Air Force up and running as well. That gives us a good idea how much fuel we're going to need. So Air Force up over the Low Countries, and the first Luftflotte, excluding the Aufklärungsgeschwader. So everything except for the Küstenfliegergruppe, obviously, is going to fly aerial superiority close air support missions over the region. Do we have a strategic bomber wing actually up at this point? Let's have a quick look. How many of the heavy Dorniers do we actually have? I should have one somewhere. Ah, the Fernkampfgeschwader is actually on the Eastern Front. Okay, never mind then. So Western Front, first Luftflotte is active over the Low Countries air zone for now, and we'll change that except for these two. So the Naval Patrol Wing actually should be part of the that, I believe. And that means, yeah, this is the Aufklärungs naval patrol bombers. They can run naval patrols over the North Sea for Aufklärung purposes. Küstenfliegergruppe is not active, so they are not going to be doing anything, and that leaves us with the air wings of the first Luftflotte and von Richthofen's planes taking to the air. Which one is this? That is the... No, not getting a highlight. Okay, let's just make sure that we have everything. We have everything sorted. Who's flying? That was probably the Küstenfliegergruppe. Yeah. Okay. You're not going to... Küstenfliegergruppe can run some naval strikes over the North Sea just in case anything gets spotted. But it's, they're running pretty old biplanes, so not really an awful lot that we need to worry about. And the scout planes maintain aerial superiority over, maintain intelligence superiority over France. Kingdom of Greece is preparing to declare war on Bulgaria. The ungrateful bastards. Seriously, Greece, we have helped you win the civil war, and yet you are trying to attack Bulgaria again. Are we going to see a restart of the Balkans wars? We may have to divert troops in that regard. Anyway, Norway is part of the equation. So let's see what kind of possibilities for assault we have over Norway. We obviously do have the 5th Kampfgeschwader, which is kind of under strength at this point, but can start. They're still very green pilots, but given that there's no air force up in Norway, we will try to run assaults here from bombing runs. First objective is going to be Fredrikstad. And I think we will assault, we'll get the Alpenkorps, the 1st, the 3rd, and the 4th Gebirgsdivision to attack in the north, and we can't because Norway isn't actually part of the war. I thought they were. Yeah, the Norwegian Socialist Republic is part. Oh no, they haven't called them. Okay, sorry. Yeah, the Norwegian Socialist Republic is not yet part of the war. So we are. So right now the combat is localized on the northern French positions, and the first the first naval attack has actually happened. The old naval bombers from the first Küstenfliegergruppe have encountered some submarines and have damaged one of them. So that means we can probably get the naval patrol groups to run naval strikes as well. If they can find enemy submarines, that would be interesting. Let's use the we have only one wing. Where's the other one? I should have, yeah, there are 2 naval patrol wings. Oh, we're moving them over north, that's why. Okay, we're moving them over to Kiel, and then these 2 can actually we'll see how successful they are in running anti-submarine operation. So that would be quite interesting indeed. Let's see how that's going to work out. All right. Meanwhile, the air situation is changing, and we have enemy air force over northern France, over the northern France air region, where this current and they are starting to send enemy planes over the Rhineland, and yes, they are starting to run some bombing operations. So we are going to divert the how many escorts are they bringing? 200 fighters and no escorts. Okay, so we are going to divert the long-range interceptors, the Kampfgeschwader, because that is literally, sorry, not the Kampfgeschwader, the where are they? The Nachtjagdgeschwader and the Zerstörergeschwader. So these two, we are going to move them to Essen, and they are going to run the interception missions over the Rhineland. So let's get these two moved to Essen and run air superiority over the Rhineland region. Although they don't even need to move, but we are overloading the airport here at this point, so let's move them out. And we should have there are two more. We are moving these. These can stay where these can actually stay where they are, but they are going to take the southern German air zone under protection and make sure that we are taking down any kind of enemy bombers. We don't really need to worry about northern France just yet, because we're not actually fighting in that zone. And we are in the process of spotting a British, so the second Aufklärungsgruppe is spotting a British task force out of somewhere between 11 and 17 ships, which means the first Schlachtgeschwader is getting ready to sortie and take them on in the eastern North Sea. There are enemy ships operating in the Danish belts as well, so that's an area where we have to watch out too. So that's why the Aufklärungsgeschwader are on their way to try and spot enemy shipping. In fact, I think under that it might actually be better to just run to just get the condors to scout, rather than getting them to engage, because that means, and I should have another one. Yeah, there it is. And yeah, that's just scouting, because that means we'll be quicker in figuring out where they exactly are. And we'll see how the combat develops in the north. The Netherlands, seeing that the French are starting to invade through the Low Countries and trying to enact the Schlieffen Plan, are asking for a temporary alliance. We've received a call from the Dutch ambassador to create a temporary military alliance between our nations to better defend Western Europe from Communard incursion. Absolutely. The Netherlands, with this, have joined the Reichspakt and are completing the northern bulwark against the French. And they have called the Norwegian Socialist Republic in, and Mexico and Colombia have joined as well, which means we are now at war with the Norwegians, which also means that the Swedish now have to deal with the Norwegian Air Force. But we can now launch the assault in the north towards Oslo and see if we can break their lines here. That should not be too difficult. Air situation in the north. Our bombers, despite being still green, shouldn't have too much of a problem. Helping out here. So we'll concentrate the combat onto the single area here. There's another contact in the North Sea. We're still looking for the home fleet. This is a two smaller British task forces. So we will see at which point we will see at which point we have more clarity, and there's a light cruiser force, 12 ships, and at which point the first Schlachtgeschwader decides to intercept The first Schlachtgeschwader is leaving their port in Wilhelmshaven. Admiral Erich Raeder is engaging the British cruiser force that has been spotted of the northern Dutch positions, and we'll see if we can intercept them for the first naval engagement, or if the British cruisers can run away. Unfortunately, as it turns out, the old Weltkriegsships are not fast enough to intercept the British light cruisers, so that means the British cruiser force got away, and we are no longer, we've lost contact, and they've retreated through the channel, but they've been successfully repelled from any kind of raiding operations in the North Sea. War in Western Europe. For 2 decades, Germany and the Third International have been at peace. Despite their ideological opposition to each other, the horrors of the Great War weighed on all, and neither side was prepared to repeat them. Not everybody was convinced that this would last. Today, the skeptics were proven right. After years of rising revanchism and military expansion, the French government in Paris officially declared that it was no longer bound by the Treaty of Versailles and has proclaimed revolutionary war to reclaim its lost territories and liberate the German proletariat, with Berlin denouncing France as a rogue state in response. Already, French and German forces have traded fire along Alsace-Lorraine, the inauguration of the Second Great War in a generation to shake the continent of Europe. Germany United has never been defeated, and we actually have a naval combat where some of our, these are not our convoys actually, but these are Allied convoys from Cuba, are being chased by submarines. So not much we're going to do in the British Channel. However, we have German submarines are starting to hunt Mexican convoys in the western approaches, and they have found 6 Mexican troop convoys, bringing reinforcements to the syndicalist cause, and it will see how Dönitz's submarines are going to go on their first engagement. At the same time, German destroyers from the escort group under Wilhelm Marschall are chasing away British submarines in the North Sea, and we will see if we can actually manage to hunt some of them down and how well the Gruppenhorchgerät is performing. So that's exciting. But we will be following the naval engagement of Dönitz's submarines off the coast of Scotland, and we will see if they can manage to sink enemy shipping. Unfortunately, a British screening group has appeared, and it probably will push away Dönitz's submarines and prevent the convoys from being sunk. At the same time, British naval bombers as well have appeared, so the submarines are going to go down underwater and prevent any damage to them. And the submarines have been attacked, and actually U-289 has been attacked by British bombers quite significantly and has been damaged. So it'll have to retreat. It'll have to retreat to the bases in Ireland for repairs. Meanwhile, our destroyers and escort groups are engaging the British submarines. We have no, this is actually a French submarine. We're engaging the French submarines under Raoul Castex in the north, and we will see if the combined force of escort groups here is going to be able to sink some of the attackers. So another air attack on our submarines off the coast of Britain. I think the western approaches are too well defended aerially and from convoys, and we might concentrate our efforts further into the North Atlantic ridge. So let's get Dönitz's submarines out of the western approaches and potentially out of the Bay of Biscay as well, and instead operate further in the Mid-Atlantic gap against any kind of potential reinforcements coming in from Mexico. So that's probably the better offer. We have lost a convoy sunk by a French submarine. Why are there convoys in the British Channel? I'm not sure what our convoys are doing there in the first place. Maybe the Cuban convoys are there. And we are receiving Brazilian rifles as well as Austrian rifles. All right, air situation update. We have pushed out. We've pushed out the bombers out of southern Germany, so they can divert to the Rhineland, and we now have 400 heavy fighters in the air to take on the enemy bombers, and we will see how that particular air battle is going to end up. Lower Germany is coming under air attack from what are we facing here? From French long range planes as well. So we may have to divert actually one of the. We're going to get these two heavy fighters over into. Do they have range? Mostly. So let's get them focused on Lower Germany to take on the enemy bombers there. And I think given that there's no opposition here, we can actually refocus some of the fighter wings into the Rhineland as well. They're shorter range, but the Focke-Wulfs should be able to take on the enemy bombing without too much trouble. And we've got 4 fighter wings that we can divert to Karlsruhe and to clear out the skies over the southern German region. Iceland has joined, and the Italians are also sending weapons. We are obviously in need of importing significantly more fuel than we currently are, and aluminium as well. Imports of fuel from Germany's Asia appear to have ceased, so we will just abort these, and we will instead continue importing fuel from Azerbaijan. Probably about this much. Also, aluminium imports. We are short. We need additional trade from the Netherlands. There we go. And that there we go. And that means the air war is going to be the most interesting one for now. So we've got the 5 fighter wings from the First Luftflotte starting to operate over Upper Germany. We've got 700 fighters over the Rhineland, and we have got some of the long-range planes engaging the enemy and intercepting enemy bombers over Lower Germany. I'm not quite sure from where they are actually operating, because we are seeing 200 enemy fighters actually in the air. Spitfires. They must be operating at the edge of their range. They shouldn't be able to reach this far, actually, to be honest. But back to the naval theaters, the operation near Scotland is being aborted. The submarines are returning, and we are going to need the Air Force over Ireland to start sinking things and to shoot down enemy aircraft. Obviously, how is the air situation over the western approaches? There are way too many planes up in the air. We can get the naval patrol bombers are not really going to help us out of the Irish position. So is Ireland part of the war? That might be the reason why. Ireland isn't part of the war yet. So we'll keep it that way. That keeps them safe, but it also means that the patrol bombers can't really operate from there. All right. First, French attacks near Belfort across the line of contact. Massive French assaults against dug-in German divisions, but I don't think, despite the fact that these are just regular infantry divisions, I don't think they will see much. Of an effect. But that means the northern French air zone, which is where the enemy is concentrating their fighting power, is going to be now included. That they're starting to attack here. We are concentrating concentrating our bombers on the Low Countries, and the fighters are dealing with enemy incursions into most of Germany here. So I will keep it that way, and we're still chasing a British potential cruiser group, and the first Schlachtgeschwader might be going on a sortie to try and intercept them once again. We will see. We will see about that. First Schlachtgeschwader is moving north to intercept the British cruiser group that has been identified, and we might be seeing our first naval combat. No, they have escaped once more, unfortunately. So these cruisers are too fast for the old Weltkriegsships to intercept. We have a naval battle result here. Okay. The first success for the naval bombers, the old naval bombers. They have managed to sink a British submarine, so success there. But other than that, we're struggling to intercept the fast cruiser forces that the British are sending into the North Sea for probing attacks. And a lot of combat in the English Channel. We have blocked this for our own naval forces for a reason, but it looks like our allies don't see that the same way and are running naval operations in the Channel. We have a submarine wolf pack trying to chase down ships in the Bay of Biscay, but again, the enemy convoy escorts are unfortunately effective. What we can do, however, is India in the war? Probably not. No. Is India actually part of the Third International? No, they're not. Okay. Regardless, we can get the Ostafrika Geschwader is underway and is looking for potential targets in the area, and we have an additional submarine that can reinforce not the 7th Geleitgruppe, that can reinforce the 2nd Flotille. They'll do that eventually anyway. And as such, we can get back to combat operations. All right, we have managed to push the Norwegians out, and I think the road to Oslo is pretty much open here. So let's send 2 divisions into Oslo, and then we will attack south, and at the same time start assaulting the Norwegian socialist forces in Fredrikstad. Let's see if we can knock the Norwegians out of the war sooner rather than later. There is a Norwegian incursion, obviously, into Sweden in the north, and hopefully the supply hub that we've been building in the north of Sweden is going to do its job. No enemy fighters up in the air, so our bombers are still clear to engage. And we have green air over Germany. There's still some long-range bombers operating here. Nobody's operating here, so the short-range fighters can return to Metz and start. Actually, we'll leave them here. We'll just get them to secure the rear. We're not yet going to try and engage the French Air Force in offensive operations, because they just have too many fighters up in the air, so the losses are going to be horrendous. In fact, we're just going to keep the skies clear along the line of contact here, and shoot down whatever bombers are trying to get across, while defending along the lines. And the first combat operations have completed in the north, which means the Commune of France has now declared war on Poland. Good luck with that. Which means we are going to be able to see the results of the first combat operations in the European theater. So German losses are minimal, whereas French losses from the assaults are horrendous. The first French operations have cost thousands of troops their lives, who have run headfirst, especially near Dunkirk. The French have taken horrendous losses, and have gotten nowhere against the German defensive lines. So we can probably concentrate on the air and naval war, while the French are running their heads against the fortified lines along the line. So the line is holding very well. The French surprise has very much not happened. We're trying to chase down British cruiser groups, but unfortunately they're too fast for us to take on. The Marshall's group have chased away the enemy submarines, but unfortunately at the loss of 3 of our convoys. And we're getting everybody wanting to join. So Belarus wants to join, and they are welcome too. Everyone gets to join the Second Weltkrieg. We're getting more equipment support. Legation cities are going to send volunteers. They are welcome. Middle Africa is going to send us supplies. German East Asia wants to join. I am going to accept that, because that means we're probably going to be able to assist German East Asia. Burma is going to join. The Ukraine is going to join on our side. Morocco is going to join. The Denmark is going to send volunteers, very much appreciated. Poland is going to send equipment. Peru is going to send volunteers, and the Baltic Duchy is joining, and the Irish are sending material support. Okay, so far we are having extended the group of allies quite significantly here. Does that mean that I can now utilize German troops on the Asian positions? That I should still have some here, right? I did have 6 divisions. Where did they all go? I did send all of them. That was not quite what I intended, honestly. I only need because they've been given area defense orders. That's why. We are going to need to split off. How many divisions do we need for port security here? Actually, 3 divisions. So we can split off 3 divisions into a new army. Do we have a field marshal for the? Von Blomberg can take on the Asian theater, and that is going to be, what have we named them so far? Heeresgruppe. So this is Heeresgruppe Asien. And the new group, the 12th Army, is going to be operated. We will probably expand operations here, so we may as well send Paulus over. So these groups. Are we at war with? Let's see if we can join. We probably can't join the war against Indochina. We can justify a war goal because they're not part of the. I can join the war. Yeah, I can now. I can join the war against Indochina, but they are not accepting. That is fascinating. So German East Asia refuses help from the motherland, and they are actually breaking at the moment. I think it is high time that we are going to justify a war goal against Indochina. We're going to conquer the Mekong Delta, and that should give us the opportunity to clear out this once and for all. Once we get to it, and that means we can send Paulus's troops to already into the region to assist from the north, and we'll bring them here, and then we can operate there. Ethiopia still not gaining anywhere in Harar, but that war is probably going to last forever. Kind of concerned about Bulgaria and the Greek situation there, and obviously the Eastern Front is going to activate soon as well. But for now, the first frantic and furious actions have been happening along the Western Front. We are focusing on keeping the air over Germany clear of enemy planes, and so far we are shooting a fair few down. We should have a pretty good air detection from the radars. So Lower Germany probably not so much. So we might actually need. Let's get additional radar stations up because we did not expect the British to have the range to actually reach this region. So let's get a radar station up here, and then we will deal with British incursions. We can also start building up some ground level AA. We already have some AA over Brandenburg. But that'll give our factory something to do. On the naval front, we're playing cat and mouse with the British cruiser groups in the North Sea. Our submarines are retreating from the western approaches due to heavy British air coverage, and I think we are running away here very quickly. And we'll concentrate more on the Atlantic region. How many submarine groups do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're currently active in 6 regions. So that should be enough. Yeah. So once we get them out, then that's happening. And the Norwegian campaign is going well so far. Slight Norwegian incursions into Sweden, but we'll be pushing towards Oslo, and then probably going to try to cut through towards Bergen, take the south of Norway, and get Sweden to control all this territory. So weakening, if we can get the Norwegians knocked out of the war before Sweden has to deal with a Finnish incursion, then that would be great. And we are constructing a supply hub here, but that's still going to take until January next year. So everyone's engaged, everyone is busy. And it looks like the first Aufklärungsgruppe is actually engaged in combat. Interestingly enough, where are they? Oh, they're assisting with driving away the enemy submarines. Yeah, that is something that is within the mission parameters. So everyone else is scouting, and the second Geleitgruppe as well is busy in the North Sea, engaged in combat. And the battle for the North Sea is going to be a pivotal one. The fight in the skies is going to be interesting. So far, we're only facing French and British planes, but not quite as many as I was expecting. So on our side, we're not actually engaging. So this is just various allied planes up in the air. But I think we can probably divert the majority of the. Well, we'll see. We'll see how bad this gets. But I think what we can do is we can return the fighters here and get the Focke-Wulfs in the air, because we might have, together with the allies, now that we have all these allies in, we might actually be capable of taking on the French in the air together with our allies, and we'll just use the long-range fighters to chase down and clear out any kind of bomber attack that may occur, and that way, we've got four heavy fighter wings. They can take care of that. Can we get up any additional fighter wings? We've got BF-110s definitely. And we've got some carrier naval bombers that can make themselves useful. Given the success of the second Küstenfliegergruppe, we are going to create in where are we? We are going to create in Oldenburg a new group of naval bombers. Since we don't have any carriers yet, they can. So that's the Torpedo Bomber Gruppe 2, They will need to train up first, but they can assist the Küstenfliegergruppe, which isn't sailing the same kind of aircraft. And we also have some Bf-109s, but I'm going to keep these in reserve. The same with the Bf-110s, just to make sure that that we're having some reserves in case in case we need replacements. And in the production, we are definitely going to be needing more planes in the air. So we'll see. The Focke-Wulfs are coming in large numbers, just to replace planes at this point. And we should have a couple of... Are there any old planes that we can convert? Doesn't look like it. No. Nothing to be converted. So aircraft production is continuing to ramp up, and I'd say all in all, so far we're holding pretty well. The combat on the line of contact has led to massive French losses, but we're not going to run any kind of offensive operations until we've dealt with the French-British Air Force and potentially with the Navy as well. But most offensive operations for now are going to be happening in Norway, where Nicholas von Falkenhorst is busy and pushing towards Oslo in what seems to have surprised the Norwegians quite a bit. So if we can eliminate that part of the coast and take that away from the British, that limits their access into the Baltics, and that means we can potentially have some ports in the north as well to launch attacks and block any kind of potential cooperation between the syndicalists and the Russian Empire. So, all in all, the Second Weltkrieg has started. The Empire is holding, and I still don't know how I'm going to deal with the preparedness. Is there anything I can do in that regard? Does not look like. No, not quite. So this is lacking preparedness. Maybe this goes away by itself. I don't know, but we'll see. First of all, we'll nationalize the Prussian secret police and making sure that works out. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks, everybody. And I will see you next time for when the Second Weltkrieg is kicking into gear, and most likely the Eastern Front will activate as well.